Hey guys, welcome back to World of Warships. Today we're taking a look at the Bliss 52, brand new tier 9 premium destroyer coming to the game. It packs a 9-kilometer radar, it gets healing, it's got like Fletcher DPM on this high explosive. It's reasonably quick as well, and I mean 9-kilometer radar off Gdansk line combined with healing, which is one of the main weaknesses of that Gdansk line, is absolutely incredible. There's some weaknesses here. Shell velocity at range, particularly not great. You don't have smokes either to help you out, so you gotta play it open water. But think of it a bit like a tier 9 version of Orkan. If you remember that tier 8 European destroyer, it's got radars, it's got heals, lacking in smokes, and maybe some of that long-range shell velocity. Incredible cap contesters, amazing at hunting down enemy destroyers. It's going to be very difficult to fight against a Bliss 52 if you're a destroyer on a flank. It also can farm pretty well, okay? It's maybe not quite as good as some of the best farming destroyers at your tier. For example, Kitakaze, I think, is an apt comparison. Thanks to having smaller guns, much like Kitakaze, these are 102mm guns, Kitakaze 100mm guns, both of them with the unique feature of being able to pen 30mm of armor. So Kitakaze with its 192k HE DPM is going to do a little bit better in some of these farming situations. However, Kitakaze is a lot slower and it doesn't have that healing. This ship is much more agile, much more able to get around the map and still use its very strong DPM. It's still like Fletcher HE DPM at 160,000. 161 on Fletcher, but pretty close to the same. Very strong ship. How can you get it though? Well, we have a new Salvage event coming back, and with these you exchange in-game resources to actually get this ship. And it's a lot, okay? I'm going to show you guys the information I've been given. Try and break it down for you, but this is going to be a total of 100 stages, and the Bliss 52 to get it will be at stage 85. That final 15 stages is just for an extra camo. So 85 stages is required. How do we get progress towards a stage? Well, you can use research points, premium days, elite commander XP, so that's the commander XP system, not free XP, or steel. Those are our options here. You're limited to 30 possible stages on both premium time and elite XP, where research points or steel can be used for all 100 stages. So to break that down, if you use all research points to get Bliss 52, it's going to be 127,000 for those 85 stages. That's a lot of research points, over double what a tier 10 research ship would cost you. Premium time limited to 30 stages, but those 30 stages will cost you 540 premium days. Elite XP, that one also limited to 30 stages, will be 11,250,000 Elite XP. That's a lot of Commander XP, although people who've been playing the game a long time, I know, have maybe even a little bit more than that at times. That is maybe not the best resource to use for a lot of people, as it's very nice to be able to retrain commanders for free without using doubloons, but it is an option, which is good to have here. Steel, though, is going to be 63,750 steel for 85 stages. That is a lot of steel. Consider that a tier 9 is around 22,000 steel, and tier 10s are around that 30k steel mark. It's expensive, okay? It's very expensive to get this ship. I've got a few hypothetical options here. What if we use premium days, elite XP, and research points? We use all the premium days. Maybe you don't have terribly much steel to spend and you want, or maybe you're saving it for the Steel Will event coming up, which I would recommend. There are plenty of new and returning premium steel ships towards the end of this year. So maybe let's not use steel. Well, you use 540 premium days, 11,250,000 commander XP. You would still need 37,500 research points if you used all that premium time and all that commander XP. Or perhaps you're wanting to use your premium days and research points. Maybe you don't have a lot of elite commander XP, which, well, let's be honest, is probably most of you. Well, you're going to need all 540 premium days and still 82,500 research points to get this thing. And again, that is 85 stages, not all 100. I'm just assuming you want the ship, and you don't really care about the cosmetic. At least that's how I see it. A third option I wanted to see was, what if we played the equivalent of a tier 9 steel ship, a tier 9 research bro ship? How many more stages would we have to acquire to actually get this one tier 9 ship? So tier 9 steel is about 28 stages worth of steel. It's also about 28 stages worth of research points, meaning we still have 29 stages to go after paying what is a tier 9 price for a research ship and a tier 9 price for a steel ship. You would still need to spend over 500 premium days on top of that, or over 11 million elite XP, or around there. That's a lot to ask for this one tier 9 premium. However, it's very fortunate that this event has multiple premiums in it, okay? You could get also the Bliss 44 on your way. You will get Bliss 44 on your way. That's the tier 8 version of Bliss, which does not have any HE. It's an AP only ship. It actually does not have a heal. But what it does get is a Hydro alongside pretty solid AP DPM. It's a hard ship to play. We looked at it earlier this year. It was only in FOMO gambling stuff or a FOMO Admiral bundle, I believe. It was very expensive. And maybe this is the best part of this salvage event, okay? Forget the Bliss 52. Okay, it's a very strong ship, okay? This ship is crazy for battle impact. But if you're someone who doesn't want to spend all these resources, how much is it to just get the Bliss 44? Pretty strong, hard to play, tier 8 premium destroyer. Well, it's only 20 stages to get Bliss 44. So that is 30,000 research points, or 360 premium days, or 7.5 million elite commander XP, or 15,000 steel. And that is a lot still to spend on a single premium ship, a lot of in-game resources. But the benefit of this event, of these salvage events, of course, is the flexibility in using these in-game resources. Perhaps you're a free-to-play player who's been playing a long time. Maybe you banked up a lot of these in-game resources. This allows you to get into a premium ship without spending any real-world money, perhaps. And I think that is cool. It's a really cool event to have these salvages. They are very expensive. They are meant for more advanced players, people who've been playing the game a long time, who have acquired a lot of these resources. So unfortunately for newer players, it's not going to feel as great. Perhaps though, this Bliss 44 at the 20th stage here is a decent option for you to look into as well. I'm very, very glad that we have a second option here through this salvage, that if you're getting Bliss 52, it's cool you get Bliss 44 along the way. But for those that don't have the ridiculous amount of resources to actually get the new Bliss 52, you get the 44, the tier 8 variant that is still very solid. It's just harder to play because it doesn't have that healing and still needs to play more open water thanks to not having a smokescreen. And that's about all I have on the salvage event, at least before it goes live. But it should be a decent event thanks to Bliss 44. But let's talk more about Bliss 52 and what we're getting here as this new tier 9 premium destroyer. I already mentioned the DPM. It's pretty solid, just a little shy of Fletcher DPM alongside a radar. That kind of utility is kind of ridiculous. Thinking back to what this game was like in 2015, 2016, this ship would dominate everything. Nowadays, it's still going to dominate, but you do have to be a little bit careful here with only 20,000 HP. If you're playing open water, if you're playing aggressively, trying to use this radar too much, you will go down relatively quickly. It's nice to have these heals. It's not super healing. You only get 2 of them base, though, I think is also something worth noting here. Ships like Orkan, a lot of the other destroyers that have heals at these tiers, have 3 heals base, especially when they're not super heals, just standard 14% heals. And so only having 2 of them is it's still great. Getting up to 3 with Superintendent here. It's worth noting that that HP is a little bit on the lower side if you're planning to do a bunch of open water gunboating, especially since you'll want to be playing a little closer. The shell velocity here is certainly a downside, not wanting to run extra range. This is the base range, 12.7 kilometers. More than enough, okay? More than enough based on this shell velocity, in my opinion. I'd much rather focus in on adding more to my DPM. 30 millimeters of pen on this HE feels a little weird, I gotta be honest with you. It just means cruisers will melt to this thing. I don't know, man. It's really, really annoying when you're playing a cruiser and suddenly the destroyer is just melting through you because it pens through your armor with its tiny little HE guns. And with this one, you don't even get much benefit from using armor piercing. The HE DPM 160k, the AP DPM 194k. It's not a massive jump. Other ships like Kitakazi, I brought that one up already, 192k with its HE DPM. The AP DPM goes up to 272. Massive jump up to use AP, so much more useful. Where here, just the consistency of the high explosive and combined with really, really low pen on this armor piercing, at least for the Bliss 52. It is small guns after all. It meant I was just better off shooting HE most of the time. This ship does not have the highest fires per minute either. 6% fire chance is fine enough, but Kitakazi, many other DDs, light way more fires. I brought up Katsonis Gdansk line, that's the tier 9 in the Gdansk line. That ship has way more HE DPM and alongside the same radar. 218k HE DPM on that ship. But it's harder to play because it doesn't have a heal. I should also mention the concealment here. I was running a build with 7.5 kilometer detect here because we have the radar. It really doesn't matter quite so much what our concealment really is. But sometimes your radar is going to be on cooldown, although it is only a minute cooldown, remember, on the Gdansk type radar. But maybe you run out of them, perhaps. It also can get down to 6.7 kilometer detect if you run the full conceal build, which is still decent. But you're going to get outspotted by things like Kitakazi, for example. So the concealment isn't quite so good as some of the best ships, or even just really good gunboats at your tier as well. But again, it doesn't matter so much because of this radar. It's crazy to have heal and this radar on a ship with solid gun power, decent detect, decent maneuverability. The speed here is actually quite good, 30 knots base, and you get an 8% engine boost on top of that. The rudder's a little slow at 4.5 seconds. 610 meter turning circle radius, though, means it still feels quite maneuverable. The firing angles here are 33 degrees forward, 33 degrees backwards, symmetrical. Very, very comfortable for a gunboat to have. And things like Orkan, right? Like that's the tier 8 version of this kind of playstyle. Heal, radar, no smoke, gunboat and DD. That one has horrible kite angles, where here, it's quite easy to use. It's a very comfortable gunboat at these mid and closer ranges. The shell velocity is the problem as we get to further ranges. The AA on this ship is real bad, I would say. It's even worse than kind of the average tier 9 DD, and that's kind of disappointing, I gotta say. You know, with these refits on original Bliss, I'm sure 44, 50... I'm no historian, okay? I don't know that side of this game, right? Or these ships very well. But in my head, I would be thinking that AA would be a priority with some of these refits, right? And that definitely does not translate here. The AA is very, very bad on this ship. And I talked about the HP being a bit of a downside, right? And you look at it, over 20k HP with 3 heals with Superintendent seems very good. Your base HP, though, is 16,200, where Kitakazi is 20,700. Now that ship doesn't get a heal. Katsonis is 20,300. So you need to use a couple, 1.5, 2 heals to actually get to the same kind of HP as those ships have base, which, you know, it's still a lot of HP, and the ship is still going to be great and very difficult to take down. But it is worth mentioning that the base HP of this ship is going to be on the lower side, at least compared to some of those really strong gunboats at this tier. Although even saying that just really shows the power creep these days. Comparing to Fletcher, okay? Similar HE DPM, similar gun arcs, we have similar firing angles, but we get a 9 kilometer radar. We also get a heal. Our base HP is only 900 less than Fletcher, so suddenly those heals are a massive jump on our survivability. Yeah, and our torps are nowhere near as good, okay? That's the other downside of Bliss 52 here. You're only getting 3 torpedoes. It's a 2-minute cooldown here. 10.5 kilometers of range, but fortunately, they're not like Holland torps doing 0 damage, essentially. These ones actually are going to get you 19,000 alpha damage. That's right in line with something like Fletcher, and that ship gets 10 torps on a faster cooldown. So that is the trade-off there. Fletcher, much better torp boat these days. But as far as gunboats go, this ship is just ridiculously powerful. It's got 30 mil pen on this HE, great firing angles, not the best concealment, but you have a radar to make up for that. Not the best HP, but you got heals to make up for that. It's an incredibly powerful tier 9 DD, and I don't know how we're going to deal with it in these tier 9 rank seasons, anything like that. It's going to be strong in randoms, of course, but there sometimes, if you over push early, you can get focused out rather quickly. So with this new salvage, we got a very expensive new tier 9 premium, but it's also very, very powerful. If you're good with these open water gunboats, the battle impact you're going to have out of this thing is absolutely crazy. Fortunately, we also have the Bliss 44 as an option to get for way less, way fewer stages. Only 20 stages required to actually get this one, which I'm really, really glad to see. This one, of course, AP only, and you got yourself that Hydro. Much stronger engine boost on this one to help you stay alive, but it's a harder ship to play even yet compared to 52, just because that heals make such a massive difference to your playstyle. As for the build that I was using, looked a little something like this, trying to maximize our utility, our healing here as well. Our survivability is very important. I do not know why they're recommending range here. The shell velocity I don't think is good enough to support like 15 kilometers of range personally. I would much rather buff our DPM further. Fearless Brawler, as well as main veterinary specialist, and of course Adrenaline Rush. Not needing the I don't feel the need for concealment just because a radar, 9-kilometer radar. 7.5-kilometer detect means, oh, I'm spotted. Let me pop my radar, and I'm instantly spotting whoever detected me. It's ridiculous to have these radars. I mean, how many radars on DDs do we have at this point? It's kind of crazy to me. These torp boats, man. How do you play a torp boat in 2025, bro? It is so hard. But it's only like a 10-second base on that radar, so running consumables enhancements also gets us a little more time on our engine boost, which is quite nice. As well as radar mod here gets us up to 13.2 seconds. A little more time. Remember, there's a 6-second window after you click your radar that your teammates can't actually lock on and shoot at the ships you're spotting. So extending the time that they have to fire and support is nice here. But if you're playing a little more solo play, extending this engine boost a little further could be a good idea to allow you to farm a little bit easier. Having this 41 knots of speed with not the best rudder, decent rudder, but more importantly, turning circle radius, makes this ship quite hard to hit. It's surprisingly nimble, and your firing angles support this sort of open water play. But you will have to play a little closer thanks to that poor shell velocity. At least that's how I found it. Upgrades wise, I went a little something like that. And this is the extra camo that you get for another 15 phases. It's a little guy dancing on the bow here. So it's a lot of resources to spend to get that extra. If you're just going to have the normal one, then it looks like that. Pretty much the same, I gotta say. I wouldn't spend the extra for it, personally. I guess they've cleaned up some of the rust. It's a little lighter. Okay, so they de-rusted your ship. That's funny. Okay, well, that's the ship, the new Bliss 52, and this new salvage event. I find these salvage events very interesting personally because they're focused on in-game resources. Players who've been playing a long time and have grinded up a lot of resources, it's more focused on them. This month, we have Black Friday, of course, as well. So if you're a newer player, there are some decent discounts there, but that's more focused on real money purchase, of course. But most importantly of all, Bliss 44 back and for a much more reasonable price. In-game resources to trade, only 20 stages to get that one. If you're interested at all in dealing with this salvage event, that would be the one to go for. Bliss 52, while very good, it's a lot of resources to trade for this one. But I'll leave it up to you guys if it's worth trading all those resources. Very nice that you can split those resources however you would like, with only limits at 30 stages on those premium days and elite XP. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.